Hi, Pulse. Warm greetings and heartiest thanks for listening to me on my Shundi Astrology YouTube channel. Tonight, I will astrologize Saturn's lessons together with the challenges and rewards involved with Saturn's aspects. Before moving forward, let's understand first the planetary aspects. As you all know, Mars lords the 8th house in the universal natal chart of Kaalpurusha, Saturn the ninth house, and Saturn the 10th house, and Jupiter the ninth house in the cosmic natal chart of Kalpurusha. So, Mars has been assigned the 8th aspect, Jupiter the ninth one, and Saturn the 10th one. Again, like all other planets, these three planets also possess the direct and opposite aspect, that is the 7th aspect. Besides these two aspects, these three planets also possess one more special aspect, that is the third one for Saturn, the fourth for the Mars, and fifth for the planet Jupiter, the Guru. Now, let's understand now how to calculate these planetary aspects. In a natal chart, to calculate planetary aspects, you have to count anticlockwise. Though the process will be entirely different in terms of the shadowy planets like Rahu or Ketu. While calculating or moving across zodiacs in a particular natal chart, you have to consider the zodiac where that particular planet is positing as the first house, and you have to count from there clockwise or anti-clockwise. As you all know, clockwise for shadowy planets like Rahu or Ketu. Here I would like to add one more thing, that the shadowy planets Rahu and Ketu poses planetary aspects very similar like that of Jupiter. That is the fifth, seventh, and the ninth aspect has been assigned to Rahu and Ketu. Now, before understanding Saturn clearly, as you all know that Saturn is a teacher quite similar like that Jupiter, though there is a vast difference in terms of the method of their teaching. So, what is the difference? Jupiter spoils the house where it posits at and increases the positivity and the beneficiary results of the houses it gives aspects to. Quite contradictorily, Saturn enhances the positivity and the beneficiary results of the houses it posits at and increases the challenges and hindrances in the road to the accomplishment of the stuffs related to the houses it gives aspects to. Hence, natives tend to get results, beneficiary results, in terms of the houses getting aspects from Saturn quite late or at the later half of his or her life or after the age of 36 or 37. So, now let's understand Saturn. What is Saturn? Saturn is the judge of this cosmos, of this cosmic universe. So, being the judge, Saturn holds the right to punish, to take back, and when it takes back, it takes this everything from you. Though it is quite real, even more than real, that Saturn has a strange and miraculous capability of giving in plenty. And when it gives so much that the native tires out in accommodating those things. Now, I have to tell you one thing, that you may take it for granted that there may be delay in front of Saturn, but there is no denial. Natives may face challenges and hindrances in the road leading to the accomplishment of the stuffs related to the houses getting aspects from Saturn, But Saturn will, of course, materialize those stuffs into reality for the native, though slowly, late, at the later half of the life, or after the age of 36 or 37. Now, there is one condition. If the if those houses get afflicted with negative, or I am referring to those houses getting aspects from Saturn, if those houses get afflicted by negative or malefic planets like Mars, Ketu, and Rahu, there are higher chances that the native may face hindrances and challenges while moving forward to accomplish the stuffs related to those houses. Or there are higher chances that the natives may only face all the negatives related to those houses throughout their whole life. Positivity may seem for those natives standing beyond the horizon, or quite seemingly next to impossible. But if those houses are getting aspect only by Saturn, you can take it for assurance or granted that the stuffs, the positive results, the beneficiary results related to those houses will, of course, start materializing into reality for the native slowly, quite late, at the later half of life, or after the age of 36 or 37. Now, I would like to add one more thing, that Saturn, of course, materializes things, but quite late. So, I'll tell you that there is nothing to get afraid or to get bogged down or to tense a lot regarding the stuffs related to the houses getting aspects from Saturn. In fact, the most interesting thing about Saturn is that Saturn is a slow moving planet. So, being a slow moving planet, it also delivers results slowly. But when it delivers after strenuous years of efforts, it delivers results for a longer period of time. Regarding Saturn's aspects, I would like to tell you one thing, that you will only get to learn, only get to detoxify yourself from the within of your very self. What does Saturn do? Saturn rectifies you, Saturn teaches you, Saturn detoxify you from the very within of yourself. Saturn will make you master the stuffs that you have been hardworking for so long, that you have been cherishing for so long a time, and then at last fulfill your heart's desire. It is only for the reason so that the results may stay with you for a longer period of time. So you may take Saturn as a kind of teacher who will first make you deserving of the stuffs that you have been hardworking for, and after that, Saturn will give you results. I mean to say, permanent results. The results that will stay with you till your last breath. Now, as you have understood Saturn quite clearly, let's move forward to Saturn's aspect. Don't get afraid, as I'm going to start with Saturn's third aspect. You have heard a lot about that, but I'm assuring you that there is nothing to get afraid of. So, Saturn's third aspect signifies that the native has debts related to the staffs of the house getting third aspect from Saturn. Until those debts are completed or rectified, the native will not be able to receive the beneficiary results from that house getting third aspect from Saturn. So, Saturn's third aspect symbolizes the deeds that the native has left doing in his or her previous birth, and consequently is asked to rectify them, to complete them in this existing birth. And till those debts are rectified or completed, the native will be shown a signboard showing stop, or the traffic police, the Saturn, will show the native red signal telling him to stop in the road leading to the accomplishment of the stops related to that particular house. So, to turn the red signal into green, to remove the signboard of stop from his road, the native has to work hard, harder and harder and harder to rectifying his debts, to get access to the blessings of the house getting third aspect from Saturn. Now let's understand it with few examples. First, suppose in a particular natal chart, Saturn is positing at the 11th house, and from there Saturn's third aspect will fall on the first house. So what is first house? First house is our own celestial body, our own mentality, our personality, our attitude. So there may be a general prediction of certain physical disorder present in the body of the native, or the native may get birth disabled. But I am nullifying all those general predictions here, because no such things will happen provided that particular house is not afflicted by malefic planets like Mars or Ketu, both by its presence or by their aspect. So, what will happen in that case of the first house getting third aspect of Saturn? The native will have to work hard to take his personality, to take his attitude, to take his mentality, to take his bodily health to the desired height. The native has to work hard and harder for that. Though there are certain other good planets indicating beneficial results for the native, still the native won't be able to develop or improve his personality to the desired height without any kind of hard work. The personality or the attitude or the mentality of the native will get up to that desired height only after strenuous years of efforts and struggles. There are no other options left for that. The native has to remove the signboard showing stop or to turn the red signal into green. Only then the train of the life of the native will be moving forward in the road to improving the personality of the native quite smoothly. It will happen at the later half of his or her life, or after the age of 36 or 37. Now take one more example. Suppose Saturn is positing at the fifth house in a natal chart, and from there it will aspect the seventh house with its third aspect. So what does seventh house mean? Seventh house is the house of spouse, house of love, house of relationship, house of marriage, house of business, and so on. So it will signify that there is a signboard showing stop for the native in the road to the accomplishments of good marital relationship, good love life, good business life. So to turn the red signal into green in the road of the accomplishment of the stops related to the seventh house, the native will have to work hard, will have to complete his or her debts, will have to rectify his or her debts, will have to spend strenuous years of efforts. And only after that, the blessings from seventh house will start materializing into reality for the native. It may also happen that the native may face betrayals in love relations. It is only because that the native might have also betrayed someone in his or her previous birth, and for that reason the nemesis is punishing him or her. Now take one more example. Suppose Saturn is positing at the first house, and from there it is aspecting the third house with its third aspect. So it will signify that third house related stuffs will not materialize into reality for that native quite easily. The native will have to cross the road full of burning charcoals, and after those strenuous years of struggles, the native will be able to get access to the benefits from the third house. Saturn likes willpower, the indomitable spirit, the never to give up attitude. If the native gets his or her mind ready up to remove those obstacles through his or her hard works, efforts, and if the native is ready to willingly accept the punishment which may come across while moving along as a result of his or her own deeds, Saturn will also start giving results slowly for sure. Now let's move on to the seventh aspect of Saturn. Seventh aspect of Saturn signifies challenges, hindrances. The native will get mad to accomplish the stuffs related to the house getting seventh aspect from Saturn. The native will have a kind of burning passion within himself or herself, or may get addicted to achieving those stuffs from the house getting seventh aspect from Saturn. But there will be loads of hindrances, loads of obstacles, and the native will achieve those only at the later half of his life after strenuous years of struggle, or at the age of 36 or 37. Let's understand this also with an example. Suppose Saturn is positing in the first house in a particular natal chart, and from there it will aspect the seventh house with its seventh aspect. So, seventh house represents our spouse, our marital life, our love relations, businesses, and so on. So, what will happen in the case of such natives? How much effort does the native put to get married? The native will not be able to get married at the first half of his life. The native will face many challenges in the road to get married, and the native will get married only at the later half of his or her life, because he has to or she has to face challenges, as Saturn is aspecting that house with its seventh aspect. And only after overcoming those challenges, the native will get access to the benefits or the positive results from that house. Again, suppose Saturn is positing at the fifth house in a natal chart, and from there, okay, let's take it in that way. What I mean to say, suppose Saturn is positing at the 11th house in a natal chart, and from there it will give its seventh aspect to the fifth house. Fifth house is the house of children, so it automatically indicates that the native will have many issues even may develop medical issues also in terms of becoming parents, becoming father or mother. Though the native will get addicted, will get mad to becoming parents, but there will be lots of challenges and hindrances, and it will materialize after overcoming those challenges at the later half of his life or after the age of 36 or 37. Now, move on to the 10th aspect of Saturn. 10th aspect of Saturn symbolizes that the native will feel boom boom in the road, leading to the accomplishment of stuffs related to the house getting 10th aspect from Saturn. 10th aspect from Saturn symbolizes something grandiose, something great, something beyond the level. But of course, as it is Saturn's aspect, there will also be challenges. There will also be hindrances. So things will not start materializing into reality for the native quite easily. It will start materializing slowly, and it will happen for the at the life of the native at the later half of his or her life or after the age of 36 or 37. There will be natural extraordinary efficiency quite evident in the characteristic trait of the native from the very beginning, but things will start materializing quite late, that's for sure. As Saturn's as Saturn lords the 10th house in the cosmic natal chart of Kaalpurusha, so natives will feel a burning desire to rule or grasp mastery over the stuffs related to the house getting 10th aspect from Saturn, but things will start happening late, at the later half of life. Now, let's understand this also with an example. Suppose Saturn is positing again at the 11th house in a natal chart, and from there it will aspect the 8th house with its 10th aspect. As you all know, 8th house is a Dusthan house. So there will also be a general prediction of such natal chart that something bad or worse is going to happen in the life of the native. But I am assuring you that no such things will happen, because 11th house Saturn or Saturn positing at Aquarius makes the native a very good astrologer. And here Saturn's 10th aspect is falling on the 8th house, the house of the occult, the house of the mystical, the house of the unknown, the house of astrology. So the native will feel a deep incline from the deepest core of his heart towards the house, towards the occult, towards the mystical. The native can really become a good astrologer, and at the later half of his or her life, the native will get recognized for his proficiency, for his hold over the subject of the occult. And that is for granted, and it will happen. What is in our destiny is going to happen by hooks or crooks, it will happen. Now, let's take one more example. Suppose Saturn is positing at the first house, and from there it will aspect the 10th house with its 10th aspect. So the native, of course, will become or may reach up to the height of CEO, even the CEO uh, of an MNC or multinational company. That will surely happen. Let's take one more example. Suppose Saturn is positing at the fifth house. What is going to Okay, Saturn is positing at the fifth house, and from there it will aspect the seventh. From there it will aspect the second house in that natal chart. Second house symbolizes wealth, so the native is going to become the owner of enormous wealth, though quite slowly at the later part or the later half of his or her life or after the age of 36 or 37. So, wherever Saturn's aspect falls, slowness comes along, and you have to accept that smilingly to get access to the positive results, to the desired results from those houses, getting aspect from Saturn. It's for sure. Now, as I have already told you earlier, that Saturn enhances the positivity of the house where it posits at. Now, I'll explain you why such things happen. As you all know, Saturn is a judge, so where the judge posits, all kinds of negatives, all kinds of anything that is illegal, quite naturally erases from there because judge is positing there, na. So, as judge is positing the illegal, the harmful things, the negativity automatically goes away from that house. Hence, it is rightly said that Saturn enhances the positivity of the houses where it posits at. Let's also understand this with an example. Suppose Saturn is positing at the ascendant in a natal chart, so the native will be completely free from native's mind, sorry, not mind, native's brain will completely be free from anything, from any deeds that are harmful, that are illegal, that will require punishment in the next birth. The native is going to be free from that because such is the appearance of judge. Wherever judge goes, negativity goes away from there. So again, thanks to all of you for listening to me on my Shondipish Astrology YouTube channel. Don't forget, if you like it, it is up to you to subscribe my channel. You may also visit my website from the link given in the description box, where Saturn's lessons, challenges, and rewards are described with appropriate images. I think that will help you also a lot to understand Saturn completely. Again, thank you.